Hello. Today we're going to be making a vertical plane shooter game similar to the game 1942. So right now we're in the Construct 3 menu and we're going to go open a new project. And we're going to call this project Airplane Assault. And we are going to have a viewport size of 640 by 480. And we're going to click Create. Okay, so now we're in the project window. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click off in this empty space here. We're going to change the size of the layout to also be 640 by 480. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to begin with our first sprite, the player. So we're going to right click and insert a new object. And that's going to be a sprite object, and we're going to name it right here. We're going to name it player. And we're going to click insert. And we're going to place it down. So right now, if you haven't already, please go to Moodle and download the graphics for Airplane Assault, and they'll be in the section there. And I've already downloaded the graphics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop, and you're going to get the graphics in a little zip folder like this. And I'm going to double click on it. And I'm just going to highlight all these pictures and place them on my desktop like this. So I could X out of that now. And now back to Construct. We're in the sprite editor right now. So we're going to load image from file, go to where you unzipped those sprites from, and we're going to go find the player sprite, which is this one. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our layout, and this is what we have so far. So right now we're going to add a couple of behaviors to the player so that it could actually do something. So after making sure this is highlighted, you're going to go over to the behaviors on the left side of the screen. You're going to click that, and we're going to add a new behavior. And the first behavior we're going to add is a direction. And when we have a direction, we got to make sure that the plane is always facing upward, because the enemy planes are going to be coming down from the top of the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to change set angle right here to no. And on top of that, we're also going to change the acceleration to half of what the speed is. So speed's a little slow right now. We're gonna make our player a little bit faster. We're gonna make it 300. We'll see where that goes. We might end up changing that later. But since we made the speed 300, we're gonna make the acceleration 150. We felt that this making it half of the speed is a very good medium here. So we're gonna just preview what we have. So we're gonna press the play button up at the top, and this is what we have so far. And yeah, I mean, we should probably be making the plane a little bit faster, but the acceleration is definitely where it needs to be. So we're gonna go change that number again. Let's see. We're gonna try 500 and 250. So, and before we go any further, we're just going to fix which way the plane is facing right now. So we're going to double click on our sprite again, and we're just going to go up here to where it says rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So now our plane is facing the correct direction, which is very helpful. So we're going to press play, and I think that's a very good speed for the plane, I think. So we're going to do one more thing with the plane right now. We're going to add one more behavior. So we're going to click on the behaviors. We're in the behaviors window again. We're going to add a new behavior called bound to layout right here. So that way the player can't accidentally leave the window that we're in. So right now, plane can no longer leave the window, which is very good. So, next thing on the list is the plane, our player, needs 3 image points. So, image points can be referred to later by other actions. So, for instance, you can have a bullet that spawns off an image point here. So, normally things spawn in the middle, but if you have a new image point, you could have it spawn somewhere else on the sprite. So, right now, we're going to go to edit the image points. So now we have the image points tab open. And this is the origin. You definitely don't want to mess with the origin because that affects how the plane can rotate. So if your plane's rotating, for instance, it rotates using the middle of the plane, and if you had moved this, it will rotate around, let's say here, if you place the image point here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to add a new image point, and we're going to be placing it at the nose of the plane right here. And we're going to add another one, and it's going to go where the left propeller is, and one more over on the right propeller. So that's that. And actually, while we're here, we're going to do one more thing with the plane. We're going to add one more behavior, just one more, and it's going to be the flash behavior. So let's add that now. Okay, so now we're going to start adding the sprite for the enemies. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and insert a new object. It's going to be a sprite, and we're going to call this sprite enemy spawner 1. So we're going to insert this, and we're just going to click, and enemy spawner 1. What is enemy spawner 1? So the easiest way to make an infinite number of enemies spawn is to have them spawn from a specific location. And this is what this specific location is. So we're just going to give it a color. It doesn't matter what the color is. You're not going to see it, don't worry. Only when you're programming. And we're going to use the paintbrush, and we're just going to label it so it's easy for us to remember what this is. So we're going to call it ES. So this is a little big. We're just gonna shrink this down a little. Shrink it down like that. And we're gonna place it at the top of the screen. And while this is still highlighted, we're gonna go over to its properties, and we're going to uncheck the initially visible option right here. So that way, when we start the game, you could see that it isn't visible at all. But just because it's not visible doesn't mean that it doesn't do anything. In fact, this is where all the enemy planes are going to spawn from. So we're also going to be making another one of these, but this time instead of an enemy spawner, it's going to be a power-up spawner. So we're going to call it power spawner 1. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give it a color, and we're going to fill it in with the paint bucket tool, and we're going to go over to the paintbrush tool, and we're going to draw in a PS. So we're going to make this also a lot smaller. And we're also going to place it at the top of the screen. So, the other thing that we need are enemy bullets. So we're going to insert a new object. And we're going to call these enemy bullet. And we're going to click, and we're going to look in our list of sprites here. So I think that the enemy bullet should look like this. You could choose any of the sprites here. You could get sprites online too, but this one looks good for an enemy bullet. We're just going to have that, and we're going to X out. And the other thing we're going to do is, one, we're going to make it a little smaller. Just a little smaller. And we're going to give it a behavior. We're going to add a new behavior, and we're going to give it the bullet behavior. And you can place this off screen.